Welcome to the Kowdale Hall. As President of the Kowdale Progress Association, I'm especially pleased that the RSL chose to hold the event here in Kowdale. It is 80 years since RSL sub-branch formed in the southwest. A small group of men, Boer War and First War veterans, held a meeting right here at Chapman Corner. Enjoy our very short collection of film clips, which has no story, but is full of characters and will remind us of why we love this beautiful, productive little corner of the great state of WA. Thank you all, our Anzacs, and thank you for joining the RSL to celebrate WA.
My father was from Axminster in Devon. That's where they make the carpets like. My mother came from near Perth in Scotland, and they both came out here. My father came out in 1910. There's an advert come up, they wanted the chappie to work on the Brunswick State Farm. Sir James Mitchell had just started that off. Yeah, I've operated one of the earliest milk machines in the state. They called it the Lawrence Kennedy, and Sir James Mitchell imported two into the state.
Addressing the British nation in 1918 after 4 years of war, Prime Minister Lloyd George promised the people a land fit for heroes. But post-war Britain, it seems, didn't have room or work for all its heroes. Within a year, the government set up an overseas settlement committee to plan the export of 80,000 Britons to Canada, New Zealand and Australia. Emigrants to Western Australia would be part of what became known as the Group Settlement Scheme. The scheme promised Britons the dream of a rural paradise far from their uncertain future at home.
I've had a normal life, not an outstanding one, but we came out from Birmingham, born in, I think, at 42 Milton Street, Birmingham, on Boxing Day, which is the 26th, 1924. No, 23, I beg your pardon. And when I was 4 months old, we, as the family, we sailed to England on the Group Settlement Scheme. And we got off at the boat at, it took us 6 weeks, came down the Cape. And my mother, they didn't have any dough much, and they, my mother pawned her engagement ring to go ashore at Cape Town. And they never had the dough to send and get it again ever.
James Mitchell, shortly to be Premier of Western Australia. In London, he pointed to an area the size of England on the map of Western Australia. This was the southwest, a still underdeveloped region with good rainfall, good soil and land which would bloom in the hands of sturdy yeoman farmers. It was also largely empty, the last of the coastal tribes of Aboriginal people who'd once populated the region, now dispersed or driven elsewhere. For Mitchell, the prize would be the establishment of Western Australia's own dairy industry.
We used to milk cows before we went to school and after school. Dad had a milking depot for the government, and we used to milk before we went to school and after school. And we had 2.5 miles we used to walk to school, and sometimes we'd get home, we'd get our bathers and walk down to Hamlet to have a swim. And there was no such thing as school buses picking you up or anything like that. They just weren't there. You had to walk ashore to go anyway.
They came in a baby Austin, and at that stage the bitumen ended, I think it was Byford or Gosnells, just around there somewhere, and all the rest was very, very corrugated, narrow roads. Well, Dad especially fell in love with the place, and after that we hardly ever went anywhere else for the school holidays. In the winter we rented various little old cottages at Flinders, and the summer we camped down near the old jetty. And in 1938 they built a little cottage. Because ever after that we just always went to Flinders. I don't ever remember going anywhere else. And haven't had Christmas anywhere but down here all my life.
At the end of the war, nearly 900,000 servicemen came back to civilian life. Men eager to take up the old ways or to start life anew. Australia owed them a debt of gratitude, and the Commonwealth government took steps to help them, together with their wives and sweethearts, to become re-established. For those looking to the land, the War Service Land Settlement Scheme was planned and put into operation in various states. South of Perth in Western Australia, hundreds of thousands of acres of good soil with adequate rainfall was available. Adaptation of standard machines for special jobs is one of the features of this work. Fencing posts, rough but substantial, are cut from less valuable logs. This project in Western Australia will entail the development of approximately 1.5 million acres.
I got my tractor, I think, in February 1948 at a cost of £310, I think. A Farmall A, it was the tiniest Farmall that was made in those days.
He was in the 10th Light Horse, yeah. And then he went over to the Middle East, so he volunteered for France so that he'd be near his people in Devon. And if he got leave, he could duck over to England to see them. So, yeah, he served in France there for several years on the Somme and Villers-Bretonneux and all the rest of it. And he was wounded and gassed a bit, but he came back. He was all right when he got back.
No, they were a tough lot, and if you weren't tough, you couldn't last. Yeah, when you imagine no electric light, you know, Coolgardie safes to keep a bit of butter that you probably had to make yourself, and so no, you talk about pioneer spirit, boy, that was tough. But the community spirit built up from that, and then that was passed on to the kids, and their kids, they're the people that are there now, a lot of them anyway. So, but at the old pioneer spirit there pushed them through life for sure. Hard times, there were hard times.
He was a magic man. I think I would have laid down and died for him if he'd have asked me to. But he was so wonderful. I got the cane from him every day because I was naughty. Elaine Cox, step out, and I thought, oh God, now what have I done? Oh, and I remembered, I loved chewing gum, Wrigley's chewing gum, I loved it, and I used to chew it all the time, and under there in school, and you go along my desk, go boop, 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 boop.
'Cause we are one, but we are many, and from all lands on earth we come. We share a dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian.
I wasn't here at the farm for the beginning of the fire. My wife, who was a very, very keen rider, Atkins, got on a horse and she could see that the fire was getting closer. She mustered all our cattle out of the paddock and she shut them in the cattle yards up on cement. So when the actual fire got here in the flames, they weren't standing in long grass. And our sheep, she put them onto some green kaikuia.
My dad had one of those boat sheds, yes. Yes, there were 8. My husband's father owned a big boat shed down there that he lived in, and my dad used to pull his fishing boat up just in front of it. Anyway, when I was about 16, I went down there with Dad one day, take the dog for a walk and help him carry all his gear and push him off. And Bill Staines was there visiting his father. And so I sort of seemed to go down with Dad a bit more often after that. And, you know, you fly down the street on the chance that you'll meet.
My old man bought me a Regal Melodeon for 27 and sixpence. I just took it from there.